Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Main Event Sports Show. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, is brought to you by Happs News, Happs TV. Make sure if you haven't done so, download the app, folks, and let's talk football. Already, Washington County News Station. Thank you for the high five award. I appreciate that. Pablo checking in. Pablo, what's good, man? Pablo checking in from Los Angeles, California. Folks, who would have thunk it? The Cleveland Browns? I know Pittsburghers like to call them the Cleveland Clowns, but nonetheless, they got it done. Yes, 28-0 in the first quarter. 28-0 in the first quarter, as Pablo just said. Folks, if you're out there real quick, if you're on Facebook, go ahead, share the post. Share this with other sports fans. Share this with anybody that you know who is a football fan. Let's talk football. Bring the party right here to the Main Event Sports Show. And then also, if you're on Twitter, hit the retweet button, follow Happs News, and make sure you go ahead and share with all your friends. But yeah, Bannerman, Brian, the Browns got me a little concerned as a Chiefs fan. And he says that with laughing emojis. There's scenarios. Obviously, my Ravens, they got to take care of business next week, as they know they are going to Buffalo, New York. So that's going to be fun. They know they got to take care of business. But the bottom line is Cleveland is going to Kansas City, and they're going in there with a lot of confidence. I told y'all last week. I said, I believe Cleveland should have put Pittsburgh away. Pittsburgh should have put Cleveland away. It could come back to bite them. Now they wanted to rest their starters and everything. Look, this is a division opponent. You let them into the playoffs, you let them in the dance, and then all of a sudden things like this happen. Anything that could have went wrong in the first quarter. It started off with a play that reminded you of Super Bowl 48 when the Denver Broncos begin the game, and Peyton Manning, the center, mishandled the snap. Manny Ramirez mishandled the snap, not the baseball player, the football player, and it went over Peyton's head. And that happened here tonight, and that just led Pittsburgh to. Cleveland actually scored a touchdown where back then the Seahawks only got 2 points out of the deal because it was a safety. And Bannerman says I knew he was joking. He said he's going to stick with the Chiefs. Why wouldn't he stick with the Chiefs? And then as they just kept pouring it on. And I kept saying it's not over. It was 14-0. We've seen this before. It was 21-0. Hey, I'm a Ravens fan. They was up 21-3 in Pittsburgh against the Steelers a few years ago. And all of a sudden Pittsburgh came back. But then it was like 28-35. It was a little concerning. And we saw Pittsburgh starting to chip away. But what didn't happen was Cleveland did not let up. And they put up 40. Was that 48 or 45? Let me just double check. I know I got the score somewhere around here. But they went ahead and did that. And the game was over. And bottom line is Pittsburgh is out. The team that began 11-0 is out. Unfortunately, that means for the third straight year, the AFC North Division champions. That's not unfortunate, but for third straight years, the AFC and North Division champions were one and done. And the Browns, every right, just like what happened in the Ravens and the Titans game earlier, we saw the Browns trolling Juju on the sideline. I know I didn't get a chance to get no footage. Wanted to hurry up and go live before I went to bed. But the Browns was trolling Juju on the sideline. We always talked about the dancing and all this stuff, and that became a bigger deal later on in the season. Well, tonight it is what it is, and now Juju can do TikTok videos from his couch because his team will not be going further, and it is over. And what makes it worse Not only you started off 11-0, and there were some games that they should have lost. Baltimore being one of them, they should have lost both of them. Dallas, they almost lost that. And, and I think they overlooked him. But if Dak Prescott was playing, it would have been a whole different ball game. Shoot, if Andy Dalton was playing, it would have been a different ball game. But you go through this. You have this season where you're riding high, but then they crashed, and they crashed at the wrong time. The Washington football team handed them their first loss, and then we saw Buffalo take care of them. They got through Indianapolis, but then and it was another team, but also Cleveland. And like I said, they should have took care of business. And on live, you see, I don't know if y'all saw, but Kareem Hunt, he started taking shots at Juju. So I'll look at that video later, but it's out there for you guys. Mike Patton is right. He said earlier, he said it right here on the Main Event Sports Show that the Browns would win this game. I didn't think so. I thought they would get it together. I thought it would be close, but I did not expect it to start out that way. Bannerman says, same old Browns, wasn't the same old Browns tonight. And that's another thing. When you talk too much, that's what happens. And I've been saying over and over again that number 19 of the Pittsburgh Steelers is not all that. And we saw that when Antonio Brown left. Look what's going on now. He said the running game and the defense set the tempo. Exactly. And that run team is going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that matchup next week. As we see what can Cleveland's run offense do against the Chiefs defense. That's going to be fun to watch, folks, because I don't know. I really don't know. I think everybody is ready to just go ahead and crown the Chiefs the world champions. I'm not ready to make predictions just yet, but everybody has been ready to say, oh yeah, this is the Chiefs Super Bowl. They're going to repeat, yada, 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 yada. It reminds you, years ago, people said the same thing about the Green Bay Packers, and they went all the way to the Super Bowl only to lose to John Elway. Remember the year with the Patriots? They went all the way to the Super Bowl, 18-0, only to lose to the New York Football Giants. Mike Patton says number 19 talked too much and he a free agent this offseason. He'll be playing somewhere else next season. And he said Cleveland run offense is going to have some fun again. And Ted said, I wish I put my money on the Brownies, had them win his. I had them winning. So happy, Browns. Chiefs aren't repeating. That's what I said, but I'm a biased Ravens fan. The Browns won this game when they drafted Baker in the number one in the draft. So they, and there was a conversation earlier this week, and it was like, well, why don't you like Baker Mayfield? And I respect him, but I don't like the Browns. I don't like the Steelers. But in this case, right? In this case, it is fun to see the Steelers miserable. I'm gonna just keep it 100. It is fun to see the Steelers miserable. They don't have the cap to sign number 19 back next year. They are over the cap. Yeah, and they have a lot of free agents. I heard that on the broadcast today. So that right there will be something to pay attention to. Baker's a beast. We're gonna find out. We'll find out next week. Other news, we saw that the Saints just walked over the Bears. The Bears tried their hardest, but at the end of the day, it wasn't going to happen. Drew Brees, then the Saints getting a win. Next week, they will take on the Tampa Bay Bucks. That is the main event of the weekend. Do you think the Ravens could take Buffalo? Absolutely. Ted, is this your first time listening? One, I appreciate you coming on and watching. But I'm a diehard Ravens fan, and I've been covering the Ravens for Happs. So thanks, Paige. You like the shirt, Bullet Club. But I do think that the Ravens can beat the Bills. And I'm not even going based off last year because I do understand they made some improvements, one being the X factor in Stephon Diggs. but I think the Ravens have what it takes, and they know what happened, and they've gotten hot at the right time. Saints get beat next week. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Tons of free agents. The way the bathroom Ben was looking on the bench at the end, he's probably retiring. I think so. And Bannerman says it's time. Sorry, had to call him that once. Well, hey, I ain't mad at you. But I do think it's over for I think it's over for Ben Roethlisberger. My wife was watching. When she came down, she heard his name. She's like, wait, he's still playing? I said, Ben Roethlisberger has been playing since you was a senior in high school. I know I kind of probably gave her age without giving her age. Chiefs are lucky to avoid the Ravens. Absolutely. No, I think, let's be real, folks. People like stories. Shout out to Derek Hilton. Love the Bullet Club shirt. Appreciate that. Make sure y'all check out the Wrestling Realm. For those out there who are Bullet Club fans, check out at Wrestling Realm. That's my wrestling talk show. It's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. But you check out at Wrestling Realm. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. But the thing is, we're seeing a new era of quarterbacks. And quite frankly, we could have three, because Tom Brady's not going anywhere, but we got 3 quarterbacks that's in this playoffs retire. That being I almost said Drew McIntyre, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. So Ben said Ben older than dirt on the slide. So we can see all of them retire all this year. And I personally would love to see it. I think it's about that time for these guys to go ahead. Only Phillip Rivers in that class doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. As far as those people I just named, I should say. He's the only one without a Super Bowl ring. The crazy thing is, Tom Brady has been playing longer than all of them, and he doesn't look like he's going to retire anytime soon. So he'll be doing magnet commercials with Brett soon. Wow. But I do think it's time for Ben to go home. He what else can he do? You didn't win the Super Bowl when you had the killer bees. It was Ben, Brown, and Bell, and they didn't win a Super Bowl. That's the crazy thing. We all know the issues with the live stream, and they went to New England and got blown out. And Antonio Brown had went live I think on Instagram or Facebook Live from the locker room, and it's crazy. Saw a clip of Browns doing the juju dance on the sideline. That rules. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to grab it, but that was pretty cool. And that's the thing about today's games. There's been a lot of I'm not going to call it disrespect. There's been a lot of revenge, right? You saw that with the Ravens and the Titans. The Ravens went out there and danced all over the Titans logo because look what they did to the Ravens. They came to Baltimore, stood on the shield. They disrespected the shield. They got into it with John Harbaugh. So payback. And then we saw that. I was looking forward to seeing it. It was, quite frankly, I was almost certain we was going to see them do something and that would mock Juju. That's the beauty about these rivalries. I think Brown shows out next week in New Orleans, Brian. He could. Antonio Brown could have a big game. I think I would like to see that happen. My Madden predictions, and technically it's not a prediction because I played the playoffs, but I was playing with the Ravens, and my path was as follows. It was the Colts, Bills, Chiefs. So we'll see. Will the Ravens, they didn't play the Colts, right? But will they have to Bills, the Chiefs, and then in the Super Bowl, it was the Tampa Bay. Ravens, Tampa Bay. Last time Ravens went to Raymond James Stadium in the Super Bowl, folks, they won. So now I think it's 3 times the Bucks. I think it's 3 times the Bucks go down. That's always hard, Daryl. It's always hard to see a team go down, beat a team 3 times, but I could see Drew Brees and them doing it. They're playing on a mission. I think we're almost on a collision course of a Saints Packers championship game. So Titans Ravens go way back, not just last year, back with McNair, Eddie George, Ray Lewis, and Every. Absolutely, Ted. And this has been a rivalry. You remember when there was the old AFC Central, the Ravens and Titans were in the same rivalry, same division. And it was in 2000 where the Ravens had to beat the Titans 3 times, which they did, beat them at home. Third time is a hard time to beat a team. Yeah, it is. But they beat them at home, and then they beat them on the road in Tennessee, where it was a close game. Del Greco missed, and then in the playoffs, and that was also when they stole the playbook. But in the playoffs, the Ravens would take care of business. So that's a rivalry right there. This year, we're seeing what's going to happen with the Saints and the Bucks. That's the reason why I think they happy they got that matchup at 8 o'clock Sunday night. That's going to be, the world will be watching. I just hope that I'm in a good mood when I'm watching the game. I'm hoping that I'm sitting there mentally preparing for Ravens Chiefs. I believe a lot of us here in Baltimore, from the 4 o'clock hour till about the 9 o'clock hour, was expecting Kansas City. Let's be real. Most people were expecting the Steelers to win this game. I don't think anybody could have predicted this fall from grace. To start off 11-0, to go 1-4 for the next 5 games, and then one and done in the playoffs, and to get smoked at home. I don't think with a backup coach, even players who had never practiced with the team. So you gotta admire Cleveland for doing it that way. Love the display, by the way. I gotta get a couple belts. Keep doing what you do. Appreciate it. And visibly you can see 2, but I have a total of 8. Definitely looking at it. Get some more. Belts. Ravens Bills is Saturday. It's the Saturday night, 8 o'clock, 8:30. But Saturday night, McNair and Mason played for both teams too. Yeah, and McNair, when he got here, everybody felt he was the missing piece that could get them to the Super Bowl. Kyle Bowler had, let's be real, wasted some years with a great defense, and it felt McNair could get them there. Unfortunately, McNair just wasn't the same, and they was 13-3, but Peyton Manning beat them. What was it, 16-9? 15-9, all field goals, or it might have been 15-6. I'm sorry, 15-6. Sure couldn't predict a 28-0 first quarter. Nobody could. I don't think anybody could. I don't think Cleveland Browns fans could. They did their line. Rumors are Breeze is retiring after the season. Yeah, I think it's time for him to go. It would be interesting to see him make it to the Super Bowl in a division rivalry stadium. That would be fun. But who knows? I got 7, so I got at least one more. Oh, nice. It says too sweet. Yeah, too sweet, definitely. But I think Breeze retires when Brady retires. I'm not sure. I think Breeze, I don't see him being as healthy as Tom Brady. We know he battled some injuries this year, so I don't see that happening at all. Not just the backup coach, but backup coaches. They were missing O-line coach and other coach. Quality control coach was the O-line coach for tonight. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing right there. When you have to do all this and you're doing all this, and maybe did Pittsburgh go out there and take them lightly? Maybe, maybe not. I think, honestly, what happened, in my opinion, I think Pittsburgh went out there and, Cleveland just went out there super hungry. I'm not even going to say Pittsburgh. I just think they showed us who they are. They are who we thought they were. I never thought they were all that, but they are who they thought they were. Don't see Drew quitting without that touchdown record. He wants it bad. He got the most yardage, right? So I would hate to see, it's hard enough to get one Super Bowl. To me, the Saints are not one to go out there. Do you think, real quick, do you think Jay White is in the Royal Rumble? Not sure. It would be interesting. I saw, and I want you to let me know what you think. I saw a comment that said, it was a poll and said, how many of WWE fans do you think really know who Jay White is? We didn't see Kenny Omega come in, and that's the thing that was like, I wanted to see Omega come in. I don't think Jay White comes out and get that pop, that internet pop that AJ Styles did, but AJ was definitely a bigger star. So what happened was 28 in the first quarter. Otherwise, the Browns lose today. You could make that argument that they would have, and that's the thing. So I'm not going ready to put them as like this great team because they, in all honesty, the game shouldn't have never got Pittsburgh shouldn't have never put up 30 some odd points, right? That's what's going to be tough next week, But they're also like Mike said, backup coaches and all these other. So that's what's going to be interesting. I really hope that all 8 teams left really can stay healthy and we don't see anyone sat down due to COVID. Yeah, I'm even talking about the Bills. I want to beat them at 100%. So I'm hoping everybody stays healthy. I know the Bills are going to be feeling themselves, but they got Lamar Jackson coming to town, and he got that playoff win, and he's hungry. He wants 3 more. Browns have a lot of shootouts this year in the game in Dallas before. Won a lot of shootout games this year. That game in Dallas before Dak got hurt. And really, you can make the argument, Banner Man, that the Browns and the Ravens game shouldn't have been that close. If you go back and watch that game, when Lamar goes down, that's when suddenly, they get this surgence. And the Ravens couldn't keep pouring it on. They couldn't control the clock. So, and even on one of those drives, Hollywood dropped the key pass. So they almost, could have lost the game. However, we saw what happened in the end. But I don't think the Browns are like this great team. I don't see them winning a Super Bowl, honestly. And I really don't see them beating the Chiefs. Would love for it to happen, but no matter which way you look at it, Chiefs or Browns, if the Ravens get past the Buffalo Bills, either one of those games are going to be tough, folks. No matter which way you look at it, either one of those games are going to be tough. But hey, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I know for the Ravens, they had to beat when they won the Super Bowl in 2012, they had to beat the Colts. They had to beat, which Andrew Luck. They had to beat Peyton Manning's Broncos, and they had to beat Tom Brady's Patriots just to get to the game. In 2000, what was that? 2000, yeah, in 2000, they had to beat the Broncos, which wasn't really a tough matchup, but they had to beat the Tennessee Titans, who was a division rival, and one of the MVP candidates, and then they had to beat the best offense in the league, that being the Oakland Raiders at the time. So that's the thing, you got to take care of business no matter where you at. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and yeah, 2012, so we'll see. And, for as far as the Browns, can they beat the Chiefs? How much can, what does this look like? Are the Chiefs happy? I do know one thing, and I'll say this again. I think the NFL wants a Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes AFC Championship game. Why not? This is the next Brady and Manning. The Ravens were a wild card team because in 2000, because the Titans have won the division, and at that time there was only 3 divisions. Do you remember the Kansas City Chiefs beating Warren Moon in the playoffs back in 1990 in Houston with Joe Montana? I remember seeing it. I wasn't really old enough I was old enough, but I wasn't watching football at the time. I was just strictly watching wrestling in 1990, but I definitely remember reading about that. And I think that's when like Joe Montana became like the first person to win a playoff game with 2 different teams, or the oldest person or something like that. But it would be nice to see the Browns stun the Chiefs. The best part is for the Ravens, they'll have a day extra to rest. But both AFC, the AFC divisional is on Sunday night, Saturday night. So I think that's another thing that's interesting. These playoffs, I like the matchups, the time zones, right? So you're going to have the Packers and the Packers and the Rams first. They'll be the matchup first. Then you'll have the Ravens and the Bills. Then on Sunday, you'll have the Browns and the Chiefs, followed by the Saints and the Bucks. I think that's the way you do it. That way, it's kind of like building up. Since you got to go AFC, NFC, right? You got to do that. So you're building up, you're building this story, and that's what's going to be so much fun this weekend. This week, I'm looking forward to seeing all the commentary, what's going to happen, all the storylines develop. I may do something this week. I don't know just yet. We'll see how the week goes by. But I'm actually getting ready to get out of here. For everybody jumping in tonight, I appreciate you. Everybody who tuned in, everybody who hopped in the chat. Go ahead, support the show. Download the app. Use the coins. You could donate. You can also sponsor the show. You can sponsor the show for as little as $5 a month. And that'll be appreciated. Help me out. So is Chiefs defense even that good? They got Honey Badger and Chris Jones. They do, but I honestly don't think, I think the Ravens can control the clock and beat them. I think if they go out, if they can get a stop and they run the ball, they can beat the Chiefs. You got the Chiefs and Packers as your pick. My Super Bowl pick was the Ravens and the Seahawks at the beginning of the season. But looking at what has happened, my gut keeps telling me Ravens Bucks. Is your show on Twitch too? No, the show isn't on Twitch. It's just on YouTube. If you're talking about the wrestling show, it's just on YouTube. Just search Wrestling Realm, but it's also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, on all podcast platforms. But that's just the podcast Break It Down with Brian H., which I actually just did an episode where I discussed the top 10 top 10 wrestlers of 2020. I also did an episode where I discussed Hulk Hogan and why fans don't like him. Or I should say the boys and the girls in the back don't like him. So I discussed that. But as far as the show, this is the 10th year anniversary. So check it out. You'll see some cool stuff from my co-host, the real Dwayne Allen, and myself. You'll see some cool stuff from us. So I appreciate that. Yeah, Bucks and Ravens and Bucks. I said that mainly, like I said, I was playing Madden, and that's who I ended up facing. So I was like, you know what? I think I might go with them. But the Bucks defense is what scares me. So I'll have a prediction later, but my original prediction is out when the Seahawks went down. Who knows what the Rams could do? The Rams and the Packers, that's going to be an interesting game. I'm really looking to see how the weather will be this week as well, because that could play a factor. You got an LA team having to go to Green Bay. Fans or no fans, it's going to be a big deal. As I look on the screen, I got my TV on. Are you pulling for Cleveland on Saturday? They play Sunday. So to be honest with you, sorta, because I would love for the AFC Championship game to be here in Baltimore. So that's why I'm kind of pulling for them, to be honest. I don't think they're going to, but so it's a great story there, right? So let's just say we're going to say the Ravens beat the Bills. There's a great story with the Ravens and the Browns, AFC title. They had the best Monday night game, and now they're going to play again. They're going to play in Baltimore. Cleveland could run through Baltimore, a city they used to be, whatever, to go to the Super Bowl, right? But the Ravens could beat them and, just keep them in the dirt. Tall order if the Bucks play in Green Bay. Exactly. But Tom Brady is used to playing in cold weather. So is Antonio Brown. So, and it'll probably be a snowstorm in Green Bay. But back to the Ravens. If the Ravens beat the Chiefs, it's an opportunity for revenge from Lamar Jackson. He could get that revenge win. The Ravens could get that revenge win over the Chiefs. So I really want to see this team win it. I thought I wanted to see it really bad last year, but I definitely want to see them win it this year. I think they have a great opportunity. They got hot at the right time. The Chiefs, they had some interesting wins, but I think everybody wants to just chalk it up as they were bored with the season, right? So it's easy to say that when you look at them and they have the best quarterback in the world. So it's easy to say, well, they were just bored. But were they? Or are they starting to fall a little bit? Like I said, Ravens getting hot at the right time. So who knows what could happen? You look at, I mean, they're still putting up points. So let's not be disrespectful. I'm not gonna be disrespectful. But they won. They was 14-2 this year. But Mahomes, I mean, has been incredible. But you look at the Falcons, if they were a better team, they could have maybe beaten them, but they won 17-14, right? They beat the Saints 32-29. They beat the Dolphins 33-27. They beat the Broncos, a division team, keep that in mind, 22-16. They beat the Bucks 27-24. They beat Vegas, the Raiders 35-1. And they beat the Carolina Panthers 33-31. So in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in their past 7 wins, which you could say half, right? They weren't blowouts. Now they beat the Ravens 34-20, which was really 34-13. I believe it was garbage point scored. But they, when you really look at that, they haven't blown teams away. That could come back and haunt them. Who knows? It could. So I think people were just ready to crown them as the world champions. And there's another thing that, one thing I believe the Ravens learned from last year when they went on that unbelievable run is that when you're winning, sometimes, winning cures things, but sometimes winning kind of covers some wounds and it covers things that you can't see. And I think that's what happened with Baltimore last year. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen with Kansas City. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I believe that the Ravens have the run offense that can do that and that can get there. And I believe Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams hopefully can get and they can stop the run and pressure Mahomes. But those defensive backs are going to have to really toughen up. So what happened to the Pittsburgh defense? Did Minkah Fitzpatrick get hurt? I'm not sure. So, but huge win for the Browns. The first win since 1994. In 1994, for my wrestler fans out there, when the Browns won the playoff game, Bret the Hitman Hart he was getting ready to win the championship. Yokozuna was champion. Rest in peace, Rodney Onwai, the cousin of the current WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, also shoot named Joe Onwai. But so that was the last time the Browns won a playoff game. Bill Belichick was the head coach. So, but that'll do it. Next week, Lamar Jackson, the man, the myth, the legend, will go to Buffalo and hopefully take care of business. We shall see. Till the next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. Thank you for tuning in to the Main Event Status Sports Show. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching. Most importantly, download the Happs News app. Yeah, I said they beat the Pats. Yeah, I thought I did. Well, I didn't. Yeah, they beat the Pats. But make sure you subscribe to the Happs News app. So long, everybody.